Shadows of the Night. In the quiet town of Hollowbrook, the streets were usually peaceful after sunset. The townspeople would gather in cozy homes, the flickering light of candles casting a warm glow across their faces as they shared stories and laughter. But on one fateful night, an eerie and unsettling presence descended upon the town, turning its familiar paths into corridors of fear. It began with whispers, faint murmurs of a sinister entity that lurked in the shadows. These whispers slithered through the cracks in windows, crept under doors, and wormed their way into the ears of the townspeople. Rumors spread like wildfire, tales of a creature that emerged only under the cover of darkness, waiting for unsuspecting victims to cross its path. As the stories proliferated, fear took hold of the townspeople, and a sense of dread settled over Hollowbrook like a suffocating fog. One evening, as the moon cast its pale light upon the cobbled streets, a group of friends dared each other to venture out into the unsettling night. They gathered near the edge of town, a mix of nervous laughter and uneasy glances exchanged among them. With a collective breath, they stepped onto the cobblestones, attempting to shrug off the unease that had settled upon them. As they turned a corner into a narrow alley, their laughter died in their throats. The air grew colder, and an oppressive silence enveloped them. Each step echoed ominously, and the usual sounds of the night seemed to have been swallowed by an otherworldly quiet. Despite the darkness, they could feel eyes on them, an unseen gaze that sent shivers down their spines. A faint rustling echoed from behind them, causing them to whirl around. In the dim light, they glimpsed a fleeting shadow, a formless shape that seemed to slink along the edges of their vision. Panic seized them, and they quickened their pace, their footsteps echoing in the stillness, a stark contrast to the turmoil in their hearts. But no matter how fast they walked, the sound of rustling followed them, growing louder and more persistent. Each time they glanced over their shoulders, they caught a glimpse of something unnatural, a twisted shape that defied description. It seemed to be an embodiment of the very darkness itself, moving fluidly and silently, its presence causing a ripple in the fabric of reality. Their hearts pounded as they realized they were being herded, driven toward a dead-end alley with no way out. The rustling grew into a chorus of eerie whispers, a symphony of malevolent voices that seemed to come from all directions at once. The whispers twisted and merged, forming chilling words that seemed to crawl beneath their skin. Suddenly the streetlights flickered and dimmed, plunging them into near darkness. In the feeble glow they finally saw it, the creature that had haunted their nightmares. It was a grotesque fusion of limbs and shadows, its form constantly shifting and contorting, as if it were a living nightmare. The very sight of it sent a shockwave of terror through their bodies, freezing them in place. Paralyzed with fear, the friends could only watch as the creature drew closer, its unsettling whispers growing louder and more insistent. They felt a cold grip on their hearts, as if the very essence of dread had taken hold of them, threatening to suffocate their will to fight. With a guttural howl, the creature lunged forward, its form stretching and elongating, tendrils of darkness reaching out toward them. In a desperate bid for survival, the friends turned and fled, their screams echoing through the empty streets. Their footsteps echoed off the cobblestones, a frenzied rhythm that matched the pounding of their hearts. They ran as if their lives depended on it, the creature's relentless pursuit a constant reminder of the horror that stalked them. Fear surged through their veins, pushing them to the brink of exhaustion as they tore through the twisting streets. Finally, they burst through the doors of a church at the edge of town, their breath ragged and their hearts pounding. The doors slammed shut behind them, and the whispers of the creature faded into the distance. They collapsed onto the cold stone floor, their gasps for air echoing in the hushed sanctuary. The weight of their experience settled upon them, a chilling realization that the stories had been true, that the darkness harbored something unspeakably malevolent. Even as the townspeople gathered to console them, the sense of lingering dread remained. The memory of the creature's whispers, its shape-shifting form, and its relentless pursuit continued to haunt their thoughts. They knew that the shadowy creature still lingered in the depths of Hollowbrook streets, waiting for its next unsuspecting victims to wander into its grasp, a silent reminder that even in the heart of a seemingly peaceful town, there existed a darkness beyond imagination.